Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. It's from Canto 2, which is entitled The Cosmic Manifestation. Chapter 10, which is entitled Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. And this morning we're on text 7. So without further ado, we'll start the class. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janavallabha Givadadari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari 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 Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Privajikacharya Astottara Satasishimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Privajikacharya Astottara Satasishimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Harinath Thakur Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shari Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shami Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Swami Ki Jai. Shri Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Glories to the Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Tira Swami Nityanamani. Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Sutatmane Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhakti Tira Nityanamani. Narayana Namaskritya Narunchevam Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Vijirayat Nashta Prayeshwa Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to you, the Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 10, Text 7. Ābhāsaśca nirodhaśca yato śabdyate sa āśrayaḥ paraṁ brahma paramātmeti śabdyate. ābhāsaśca nirodhaśca yato adhyavasīyate sa āśrayaḥ paraṁ brahma paramātmeti śabdyate. ābhāsaśca nirodhaśca yato adhyavasīyate sa āśrayaḥ paraṁ brahma paramātmeti śabdyate. Hare Krishna. Please chant.
ābhāsaśc nirodhaśc yato asti adhyavasīyate sa āśrayaḥ paraṁ brahma paramātmeti śabdyate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? All right.
nirodhaśca yatosti adhyavasīyate sa āśrayaḥ brahma paramatmeti śabdyate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? We'll do word for word now. Okay. Ābhāsaś, the cosmic manifestation. Cha and nirodha, and its winding up. Cha also. Yata, from the source. Asti is. Adhyavasīyate, become manifested. Sa, he. āśrayaḥ, reservoir. Param, the supreme. Brahma, being. Paramatma, the supersoul. Iti, thus. Śabdyate, called. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme One, who is celebrated as the Supreme Being or the Supreme Soul, is the Supreme Source of the cosmic manifestation as well as its reservoir and winding up. Thus, he is the Supreme Fountainhead, the Absolute Truth. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Symptoms for the Supreme Source of all energies, as explained in the very beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, are Janmadhyasya yata Varantita Tatvavidas Tatvam Yajgyanam Advayam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavanidhi śabdyate, called Param Brahma, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. The word iti used here in this verse completes the synonyms and thus indicates Bhagavan. This will be further explained in the later verses, but this Bhagavan ultimately means Lord Krishna, because the Srimad Bhagavatam has already accepted the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Krishna. Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. The original source of all energies, or the summum bonum, is the absolute truth, which is called Param Brahma, etc. And Bhagavan is the last word of the absolute truth. But even with the symptoms for Bhagavan, such as Narayan, Vishnu, and Purusha, the last word is Krishna, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Aham sarvasya prabhu mata sarvam pravartate, etc. Besides that, The Srimad Bhagavatam is a representation of Lord Krishna as a sound incarnation of the Lord. Krishneva dhamupagate dharma jnana didi saha kalo nashta drisham esha puranarko dunodita. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 43. Thus, by the general conclusion, Lord Krishna is the ultimate source of all energies. And the word Krishna means that. And to explain Krishna or the science of Krishna, the Srimad Bhagavatam has been prepared. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, this truth is indicated in the questions and answers by Sutta Goswami and great sages like Shanaka. And in the first and second chapters of the canto, this is explained. In the third chapter, this subject is more explicit, and in the fourth chapter, even more explicit. In the second canto of the Absolute Truth as the personality of Godhead is further emphasized, and the indication is the Supreme Lord, Krishna. The summary of Srimad Bhagavatam in 4 verses, as we have already discussed, is succinct. The Supreme Personality of Godhead in the ultimate issue is confirmed by Brahma in his Brahma Samhita as Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha. So it is concluded in the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The complete subject matter is elaborately explained in the 10th and 11th cantos of the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the matter of the changes of the Manus or Manvantaras, such as the Swayambhuva Manvantara and the Chakshusha Manvantara, as they are discussed in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Krishna is indicated. In the 8th canto of the Vaivasvat Manvantara, in the 8th canto, the Vaivasvat Manvantara explains the same subject indirectly, and in the 9th canto, the same purport is there. In the 12th canto, the same is further explained, specifically regarding the different incarnations of the Lord. Thus, it is concluded by studying the complete Srimad Bhagavatam. The Lord Krishna is the ultimate summum bonum, or the ultimate source of all energy. And according to the grades of worshippers, the indications of the nomenclature may be differently explained as Narayan, Brahma, Paramatma, etc. Oma Gyanati Vidandasya Gyana Ganashalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kalamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinavani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravan Pacharini. Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschatya Shitani. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namiguratiche Namaha. Anandalidamaya Vigrahaya Himabhyadi Vachavishindaraya Tasmi Mahaprem Raspadaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. English translation. The Supreme One who is celebrated as the Supreme Being or the Supreme Soul is the Supreme Source of the cosmic manifestation as well as its reservoir and winding up. Thus, he is the Supreme Fountainhead, the Absolute Truth. So this is being explained very nicely. And in the purport, the name Krishna is mentioned. In the translation, he is called the Supreme Absolute Truth. He is supreme in every sense of the word. He is the source of existence, and it is important as Kali Yuga rages on that we firmly fix in our minds who Krishna is. There will be situations where Mayavad philosophers would package something about the Lord and put him in an impersonal situation, that he is, merging the light. You merge into the light, because Krishna is actually, or the supreme of all, the most supreme, is actually impersonal. And he's this big light, huge, that we can immerse ourselves in, merge into it. And they will come up with all kinds of word jugglery and excuses to try to push that point. And sometimes they're able to convince some people. But we have to be very careful to understand one thing clearly. As it says here, Shukadeva Goswami is making the point that there's nowhere else to look for supremacy but Krishna. Nowhere else but Krishna. So, Srila Prabhupada talks about this in the purport. So, the definition is in Srimad Bhagavatam. The very first text of Srimad Bhagavatam talks about who Krishna is. So we read the text itself and the translation, because it makes the point very clearly. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 1 is what we're talking about. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. From our obeisances to the Lord, Sri Krishna. Son of Vasudeva. Janmadhyasya yato invayat itaraskatesha vigyaswarat. Tini brahma hridaya adi kavaye mukyanti yat suraya. Tejo parimedam yata vinimayu yatra trishagumesha. Damnasvena sada vinashta kuhakam satyam param dimahi. The translation is, O my Lord Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances to you. I meditate upon Lord Sri Krishna. Why? Because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge into the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even great sages and the demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representation of water seen in fire or land seen in water. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of material nature appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. So this is the translation of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, and Text 1. Srila Prabhupada translates this. Shukadeva Goswami is speaking to Maharaj Pariksit and makes this very clear as to who is the boss of all bosses. First, he offers his very, very respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna. He is the absolute truth. And the absolute truth is a lecture in itself. Lectures, workshops in themselves, just to explain the absolute truth. The absolute truth. Everything comes from that base, the truth. This is where everything emanates from. existence is from the absolute truth. Whether spiritual, whether material, it is all something that has its basis in Krishna. Everything ultimately is him. So he's a primeval. That's why it's a primeval, the original cause of all causes. Everything can be traced back ultimately to Krishna. Ultimately to Krishna. Everything is in one of the categories of Krishna's energies. Everything, whether good or evil, it is there. So he is the primeval causes of the creation. Now, looking at the material world now, the creation of it, the sustenance of it, and the destruction of it. Creation is from the incarnation of a Supreme Personality of Godhead called Mahavishnu. So it's through him that the universes come to be. And he also establishes material time. Lord Vishnu maintains this universe and the universes, and the destruction is also indirectly from him. If any other entity creates, it's because the Lord has taught that person or that personality how to create. Nobody, in terms of knowledge, can have any abilities without Krishna being a part of it, main cause of it. Not a part, but the main cause of it. So sometimes people just think that they can get whatever done by their own minds, and they think that God is not a part of it. But sometimes we forget who gave the mind to the person that's thinking that way. Everything is from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We cannot shake Krishna in any situation. He's part of it, he always will be. And as he said in the summary of Bhagavatam, which is now in chapter 2, canto 2, chapter 9, text 33, indicating that before these material universes came to be, he was there. Lord Vishnu was there. When the material universes are out of the body of Mahavishnu, he's still there. And when he breathes in and everything gets annihilated and goes into the body of Mahavishnu, nothing in the material world will be there. There will be no material time, but the Lord will still be there. So he is the ultimate cause. There is no cause beyond him. This is what it said in Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. He's the one that also imparted into the heart of Brahma Vedic knowledge. Vedic knowledge is the highest and the most versatile of any books in religion. Vedic knowledge is the source of all of them. All the other books are subsets of what is in the Vedic religion, or the Vedic knowledge, in the Vedas. Therefore, we as devotees are fortunate to have the opportunity to discuss the cream of the crop, the topmost of all representations of the Vedas, all parts of the Vedas, and that is Srimad Bhagavatam. 18,000, almost 18,000 verses that describe all there is to existence, spiritual as well as material. So this particular text talks about even the sages and the demigods being placed in illusion. Everybody is bewildered because Krishna is incredible. So the demigods sometimes get bewildered, and the great sages also, they get bewildered. That's a whole lecture in itself, the bewilderment from the higher abodes. Sometimes, the only thing we say about it is sometimes they think they're so well settled, but they don't realize that Krishna is the ultimate source of everything. So sometimes Krishna uses the demons to remind them that they don't, the demigods, demons are used to remind the demigods that they don't have as much power and they have to depend on Krishna. When the demons are overpowering them, then they remember to go to Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma takes them to Nirodhaś, Vishnu, and all of a sudden they go into their version of, oh my God, please help me. Demigods are like that. Half the time, they are just very much enamored by their own wealth. There's so much wealth. So compared to this earth, we don't have much at all. We don't have much at all. The heavenly planets have way more than we do, and way more ability of the bodies that they use, what the bodies can do. So yeah, sometimes they can get bewildered and think that they got everything. Even here in this country, people are working hard. They're actually slaving just to get a small amount of money. And if they're able to pay their bills, they say, oh, we're okay. In the meantime, everybody's suffering. But as you Prabhupada, we'll see later on in the purport that people have come to accept suffering as normal. It has become so normal that people don't see suffering anymore. They think we're okay. And that is so dangerous, because to be in prison and think that I'm okay in the prison, it's hard to make sense of it. But people are so enamored by the things that they buy and use that they think this is so good. Everything, my day, I plan it and it comes the way I want, so then everything is fine. So they think everything is fine. But a little bit of reasoning will actually defeat that easily. So we are just thinking that if we settle here, if we work hard, if we get some money, if we're able to buy the things that we need to buy, if we're able to pay our taxes, if we're able to maintain our cars, if we're able to have some good insurance for the cars and for our health and all of that, and have some nice clothes, and every now and then go have some sense satisfaction, that is life. That is polished animal life. That is polished animal life. Because what we just mentioned here has no sense of spirituality in it. And that is the problem. We are spirit souls, but we're not catering to the soul. And that's why people are suffering. As long as we're not catering to the soul, as long as people don't have the proper understanding that all living entities are actually souls, and the Supreme Soul is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the situation is so bad, literally, people who don't even know what God looks like. You don't know him. They mention him. Some people say, oh, my book, it says that God is the creator. Where is he? What's he look like? I don't know. What does he do? I don't know. He's in heaven. What happens in heaven on a daily basis? I don't know. How you believe in so many things that you don't know? So it doesn't make sense. So see, that's why many of the religionists are not able to convert atheists, because these questions draw, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know as answers. So how can we get anywhere? But if you come to Krishna consciousness, every single question that I just put here will be answered, and answered fully. And maybe more information will be given about it. That's why we are where we are. That's why we are where we are. And not in some other religion. That's why Krishna also says, abandon these religions. Because they really, really, really don't guide us out of this prison house. They don't even let us know that we're in prison house. What we talked about earlier is, as long as we get this and this and this and this materially situated, we think we're okay. In the meantime, it's obvious to us we're all getting old. In the meantime, it's obvious to us that every now and then either ourselves or our family members get sick. And it's obvious to us that it's the germs that make us sick. Sometimes it is the chemicals that they put in our, around us and in our foods. make us sick. But we still think we're okay. So we have to understand one thing that actually takes us out of this type of thinking. The understanding of who Krishna is. The understanding of who Krishna is, the conviction of who Krishna is, and the commitment to the Lord. Those will take us out of the problems. Interestingly enough, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his mercy and his love, has made a number of things coincide, and we just do it, and those two things, the things that coincide, they just come together, we get it at once. Now, what do we mean by that? By chanting the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, with conviction and with attention. We can do two things. We can head back home, back to Godhead, away from this place meant for suffering. And the second thing is we can develop love of Godhead by chanting the holy name of the Lord attentively. Both happen. Developing love of Godhead and also going back home. In this particular text, much has been explained about the position of Krishna. Sometimes other synonyms are used like Narayan, Vishnu, Purusha, the word is on and on and on and on, different names of the Lord. But Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am the source of material and spiritual, everything emanates from me. He says, Aham ābhāsaś prabhavu mata sarvam pravartate. I am the source of everything material and spiritual. Everything emanates from me, the source of it. So then if we think about that, if Krishna is the source, the very existence depends on Krishna. Where is the need to go anywhere else? But in this material world now, people are going to begin to tell you some things. The Mayavadis will tell one thing. There are others too that are praising Lord Shiva when Lord Shiva is one who has his energies from Lord Krishna. They're still trying to put Shiva over Lord Krishna, and a lot of it is happening. That's why we're spending time telling. If you go on social media and also on YouTube, places like that, you will see videos that have been set aside and with all kinds of, the way they do the videos to impress you or impress us, and they put Shiva on top. They have gotten to the point where they put Shiva as the one that is like the Supreme Personality. What we're describing about Krishna, they give to Lord Shiva. Who are doing that? The demons. Because they say, oh, if you just turn to Lord Shiva, all your material situations will be dealt with nicely. As if Krishna is not the source of all of those things. Go to Lord Shiva. So many people spend time, get convinced by all of these, and go to Lord Shiva. And then what happens? In the end, they're going to find out how wrong they are. Lord Shiva likes to help devotees. He is the premier Vaishnava himself. But Lord Shiva is only excited about helping people who request spiritual help from him, not material help, spiritual help from him. And the Bhagavatam explains that in the example of the Prachitas. The Prachitas are princes. Their father is the king Prachinabahi. Sometimes they say Prachinabahishat. The princes were very much connected in Krishna consciousness. There was so much wealth. They lived in palace. They had their own places. There was so much wealth around them, materially, that is. But they were still so connected to the Supreme Personality of Godhead that they left the palace just to go perform austerities to please the Lord. Something like Kadama Muni also did. And because they made that decision as princes, even though they had it all, and when you think about it, how many people with so much wealth are going to just want to put the wealth on the side, all their cars and everything else, and go into a place that is very austere and be there for quite a while and go through inconveniences when there's so much conveniences at home in the palace just for Krishna? It takes highly advanced people who have given their hearts so much to Krishna that they want to do something, even if it means that their physical bodies are going to take going to take a toll on their physical bodies. They'll do it just to make Krishna happy, just to show Krishna how connected they are in love with them. The Pachetas were going to do that. Why do we mention them? Because when they were on their way, they never called on Lord Shiva, but Lord Shiva himself met them. And Lord Shiva knew what they were going to do. They were going to go through austerities just to please Krishna. And he was so impressed with them. And he told them, I'm very happy with what you've planned to do. And I'm going to help you through what you want to do. I'll give you the prayers that you should say when you're going through your austerity. And Lord Shiva explained Lord Krishna in the prayers so wonderfully to them. Use that. He said, use that prayer. And when they used it, Lord Vishnu, after a while, appeared to them, very pleased with what they had done. And Lord Vishnu gave them a boon, something that many of us would love to have. Now, of course, they already had wealth because they were sons of the king, Prachinavahisha. And at that time, wealth in terms of real wealth, not paper money, but gold and so on. So much was there. So they came back. And the boon that they got from Lord Vishnu is they never got old. Their bodies never got old. That was the boon they got. For all of that wealth, looking at it and leaving it and going into a place where there's a body of water, standing in the water and performing austerities, denying the body and praying with Lord Shiva's prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. The prayers are very beautiful. They use it, they come home after Lord Vishnu appears to them and here. Actually, they didn't even stay home that long. After that, they went to the Himalayas. And they continue life, basically not dealing with material wealth so much until they left their bodies. So they were very, very, very distinguished saints. We learn from them. The Bhagavad Purana, this is Bhagavad Purana, the same thing as Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 43, Srila Prabhupada quotes it, that this Srimad Bhagavatam is as brilliant as the sun. In fact, when you begin to read or hear recordings of the Srimad Bhagavatam, your knowledge will increase exponentially, including the material things. Not many things will be surprising to you. Not many things around us will be surprising to us. All we have to do is just keep hearing Bhagavatam. So it's as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode. Krishna left after his pastimes, but he left us the sound incarnation of himself, and that is the Bhagavad Purana or Srimad Bhagavatam. So people who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of this age, Kali, we can get light from this Purana, this particular Purana, Bhagavad Purana. All you have to do is stay with it every day, every day, every day, and read from it, and so much can be given. So much. Srimad Bhagavatam we cannot speak enough about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is a very wonderful, wonderful, wonderful compilation. So, in the purport of this one we just read, 1343, Lord Krishna descends to the material world, and he displays himself with all paraphernalia from his internal potency, always internal potency. His external potency is separated from him. He always is, everything that he does, even if it looks similar to some things that we do on this earth, he's acting in his internal potency. You should never look at it from the external standpoint. You should never look at it that way. Janma karma chamedi vyam yojanati or tatmata. He says, a person that understands that my appearance and my activities are all transcendental, that person goes back to Godhead. So that is something that we also have to be aware of. It does not matter that what you hear about some of Krishna's pastimes seems like what we're used to. It's not at the same level. His loving affairs are not the same level as the way we understand our material loving affairs. Not at all. Not at all. So we need to get away from thinking of Krishna like another human being. That's why he says in Bhagavad Gita, fools, they mock me, they deride me when I descend in a human form. 2 hands, 2 legs. But they don't know my power and my dominion over all that be. Krishna explains it. So he descends to actually reclaim the fallen souls and reestablish the codes of religion. This is what the Lord does when he comes to the material world. He is so loving and so concerned about fallen souls in the material world that he sends a suitable person, empowers that person, just that we have experience of Srila Prabhupada and how empowered he was. Or he comes himself. He has even come without people knowing that he is God himself. He's come as a devotee just to show how to be a devotee. In the Battle of Kurukshetra, that was a telling part. And when he came 530 years almost ago, he came to show, as Lord Chaitanya, what it was like to be a devotee. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavat, both of them, when this is explained, how he lived his life, it is very, part of it looks like what we do normally. Part of it looks like that. As I said, sometimes the activities the activities are similar. It looks similar to what we do in our everyday life. But the underneath part of it, underneath it, the messages being sent, subtle messages, they show what it is like truly to be a devotee. The qualities of the devotee that are described, that Krishna calls knowledge in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 5 texts, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, beginning with humility. The way in which the Lord Chaitanya relates to his associates, all of those qualities are there. You see it by what the Lord does, what the devotees do. Sometimes when he's going someplace, how he even gets a servant to come with him, or sometimes one of the associates, he says, I would like to take your permission to go somewhere. This is God himself speaking. But he gets permission from his devotee to go someplace. Why? Because he knows that the devotee loves him very much. And then if he's leaving to go someplace away from where the devotee is at, that is going to affect that devotee in a negative way. They're going to be morose. So he doesn't get up and say, I'm God, I'm leaving. No, he would take, this is Lord Chaitanya, he would take permission. And sometimes the devotees would say, yes, you can go, but please stay a little longer, or, consider your mother and so on and how she's feeling. Lord Chaitanya takes everybody's feeling into consideration when he makes a decision. Sometimes he's going at one place. Still talking about Lord Chaitanya. When he got ready to go to Vrindavan, thousands of people wanted to go with him. But he knew that if he did that and he got to Vrindavan and all of a sudden Vrindavan is overwhelmed with so many people, what he wants to do won't really come across the way he would like it to. So those following him, because they loved him, but they had to return home. How does he get them to go back? He appealed to them. The Lord appealing, literally begging, this is not going to work. I know you're upset or you're disappointed that I'm leaving, but you have to consider the situation. And with that, try to get, so he appeals to people's emotions. He never, ever, ever jumps on people and say, I'm the boss and you have to obey me, and I want to do like that so you all go home. Insensitively. He was always sensitive. But he was also strict when he was a sannyasi. What had to be done, what had to be done. And he wasn't going to compromise. So even when one of his close associates, Chota Haridas, Junior Haridas, he was in the sannyasa ashram, Chota Haridas himself, as was Lord Chaitanya. And he had asked, well, actually, it's Bhagavan Acharya was going to cook for the Lord. And Bhagavan Acharya asked Chota Haridas to go get rice from a Mataji. And that Mataji was also very, very, very highly elevated, resident of the spiritual world, a pure devotee. So you figure the sannyasi is leaving, as being asked by Bhagavan Acharya to go to this lady and get something from her, and then come back so that Bhagavan Acharya can cook for the Lord. Chota Haridas went, got the rice, high quality rice, came back, gave it to Bhagavan Acharya. Bhagavan Acharya cooked. The Lord came. The preparations were offered to him. The Lord actually realized the quality of the rice was very nice. So he commented on it. It's very nice rice. Where'd you get it? He was asking Bhagavan Acharya. Oh, I made arrangements. Bhagavan Acharya responds. Lord Chaitanya says, what arrangements did you make? Where did you get it from? And who went to get it? Of course, the Lord knows everybody's mind. So Bhagavan Acharya wasn't about to tell a story. He told him the truth. Chota Haridas, I sent him to Madhavi Devi and got the rice. It was all very nice. The Lord ate. And then he went back home where he was staying. This is Lord Chaitanya. His servant is called Govinda. He told Govinda, from now on, don't allow Chota Haridas anywhere here or around me. He gave that condition. Nobody understood why. So Chota Haridas heard the news. The Lord Chaitanya doesn't want him around the Lord anymore. What had happened? I thought he just went to get rice, and then Lord has cooked, and Lord has commented positively about the rice, and now he says he doesn't want to see Chota Haridas anymore. So the devotees, his associates, asked him why that he had banned Chota Haridas like that. Chota means junior, by the way. There was a Haridas Thakur who was older, and then this is also called Haridas, therefore they called him Junior Haridas or Chota Haridas. So Chota Haridas had been banned by Lord Chaitanya. The devotees asked the Lord, they went to the Lord. What had happened? And the Lord explained that Chota Haridas is a sannyasi, and he went to get rice from Madhavi Devi, and he talked intimately with Madhavi Devi. And sannyasis are not supposed to do that. And he did. So when the associates understood that, they met again with Lord Chaitanya, and Chaitanya in the meantime was fasting because he was so disappointed that the Lord won't have him come around. And so what happened was the devotees decided to have a meeting with Lord Chaitanya. Now, it seems like this is a story of things unfolding, but the compassion behind all of this. See, the devotees now want to speak on behalf of Chaitanya. Yes, he has done something wrong because the sannyasi is not supposed to do that. He didn't involve himself in any sexual relationship. Maybe they wouldn't have let him anyway, because Madhavi is a pure devotee. But Lord Chaitanya is upset with it. And so when the devotees said, all right, so then there was intimate talk between Chaitanya and Madhavi Devi, but this is just a small offense. It didn't go all the way, so please forgive him. And Lord Chaitanya said, if you all begin to speak like that for Chaitanya, I'm going to leave this place. And as soon as he said that, they all covered the years associates and immediately left. So Lord Chaitanya didn't agree. Now, it seemed that Lord Chaitanya was being harsh towards Chaitanya. But Lord Chaitanya's point was, he came to show people how to be a devotee. Therefore, if he is in the sannyas ashram, he's dealing with the sannyas ashram do's and don'ts very strictly. And the person that's really close to him, he's supposed to do the same thing, especially since he's also, Chaitanya, a sannyasi. That was Lord Chaitanya's point. He says, if I forgive him, when people know that this has happened because the word has gotten around, then there will be some unscrupulous people who say, oh, well, Chaitanya got forgiven, so I can also do this like that and then get forgiven. And next thing you know, sannyasis will all be violating the illicit sex regulation. That's why Lord Chaitanya would not allow it. But the devotees, out of compassion, they still pressed the issue by going to get one of their senior associates of the Lord to go see the Lord again to bring this whole thing up about having to forgive Chaitanya. In that talk, Lord Chaitanya told him, okay, so if you also come in, then, I'm going to leave this place, all right? So you all think you're all right. I'm just going to leave this place and go someplace where I can be by myself. So then he told Govinda, prepare for us to go. And offered obeisances to his associate and said, we'll leave. And started leaving. So now he had to be begged to return. And so, all right. So when he got begged to return, he didn't go back. He didn't leave. Now, with these psychics, we hear in a story about what happened. But you got to understand why we say this, how sensitive, that's the point we want to make, how sensitive Lord Chaitanya is with the feelings of his devotees. In the spiritual world, in the Vaikuntha planets, Lord Narayan does the same thing. He's very, very sensitive to the feelings of the associates, the pure devotees in the spiritual world. And so is Krishna. And so is Lord Chaitanya, especially Lord Chaitanya, with the same Krishna, but with Radharani's mood, the mood of devotion. So what happened was, to wrap it up, because I know it's close to 9, Lord Chaitanya returned, but nobody brought up the matter. A year went by. Chaitanya was not allowed to see the Lord. So finally, Chaitanya went to Prayag, to where the confluence of the Ganga, Jamuna, and Saraswati, the rivers, meet. And he left his body there. He jumped in, committed suicide. Now, Lord Chaitanya gave it, because normally if you commit suicide, you can be in a ghost body. That didn't happen to Chaitanya. He went into his spiritual body Haridas is a beautiful voice. He went to his spiritual body and he started singing in the evening to Lord Chaitanya. Only Lord Chaitanya knew what was going on. Nobody knew where they were in the Jagannath Puri area that Haridas had left the body. And so on the other side, now he's in his spiritual body, Haridas. He could relate and serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Lord Chaitanya favored Haridas by allowing him, when he was now in his spiritual body, to serve him, to come near and to serve him. But in the physical situation, he never violated the sannyas and never allowed Haridas to get away with his offense, because then people would have also looked at it and said, hey, we can do the same thing he did and he got forgiven, therefore we can do it, and then the whole sannyasa ashram would be compromised. And Lord Chaitanya had come to show people how to be a devotee, so he was definitely going to deal with things at the highest standard and not compromise, especially with his close associates. He wasn't going to allow that. So finally, the news got told to his associates that, because they assumed all kinds of things when they couldn't find Haridas, until they finally got told that somebody that saw him leave, that he had left his body and Prayag. So the lesson we learned from this is we have a wonderful opportunity to go back to Godhead. Everything that we do should be taken very, very seriously. That's what Lord Chaitanya expects of us. So one, we should be very determined to return to Godhead. Go back, where we don't have to work hard just to live. If people are thinking they're getting enough money and they're paying their bills and taxes, so everything is okay. This is not real life. This is jail life. That's what we have to understand. It doesn't matter you're in a rich country or poor country. You're living a jail life. We are. And so we should be thinking in terms of putting this behind us and not taking another physical body to come do this type of work again. And for those who think that, oh, it's okay, next time, good karma, I'm going to return. Well, good karma and the nuclear bombs are waiting for you. So what about your good karma? What's that going to do? You don't make the decision as to when the bombs are going to be thrown. As your Papa says, it will be. Then what did it be like? We and our so-called good karma. This place is dangerous. Bottom line, period. You leave and you don't come back. That's all. So the activities to achieve that Bhakti Yoga, as we said earlier, the activities, the chanting, the hearing, the serving, especially in the temple. And by the way, service at home to Krishna is not at the same level as service in the temple. You don't get that kind of devotee association at home as you get in the temple. You can never compare your service at home to service in the temple. Therefore, if you have service in the temple and you downplay that and you stay home, Maya is already tricking you and you don't see it. Maya is already tricking you and you don't see it. The priority is service at the temple, not at home, even if it involves chanting and dancing. How much dancing can you do in association with devotees at home compared to the temple? There is no comparison. So the activities to achieve this in Bhakti Yoga will also help us to develop love of Godhead. And love is what makes people the happiest. Check with the gopis, they'll tell you. They're always thinking about Krishna because they're so much in love with him. Next point, this is the conclusion side. Don't be impressed with scientific development and new gadgets because they don't solve that pressing problem of old age, disease, and death. They don't solve it. The gadgets now and the gadgets of the future won't be able to solve the problems of old age, the problems of disease, and the problems of death. And finally, as we mentioned earlier, we have to be careful of Maya because it can cause us to think that we are doing okay when we're actually sinking spiritually. In spiritual life, one cannot be at a certain level. Oh, I've come to this level. I'm okay to stay at this level. There's no such thing as staying at any level. You're either going up or you're going down. Anyone who thinks that they're at a certain level already is being deceived by Maya and they're going down. They don't realize it. And by the time they realize it will be too late. They've fallen so far down that this life and going back to Godhead is out of the question. So we have to be very careful. We have a wonderful situation. One, Krishna Stu Bhagavan Swayam. Nobody is higher or at the level of Krishna, no matter what you hear, whoever tells you. Nobody is at the level of Krishna. He is the topmost. That's what Shukadeva Goswami is trying to get us to know. And when we fall in love with the highest personality there is, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is the best boon we can give ourselves. So we should really, based on Lord Chaitanya's direction, strive to be a better devotee. We talked about some of the pastimes of the relation with Lord Chaitanya to let us not just hear a story, but the mood behind how we're supposed to relate to each other. If the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, acting as a devotee, would even seek permission, taking into consideration the emotions of the people around him, associates, in order to do anything, we should be about that too. In our families and also at home, in the temple with other devotees when they associate with us. And as we said, we'll keep repeating this like a broken record. Our best friend should be a devotee. That just goes without. There's no argument about that. The best friend should be a devotee. If your best friend is a kami, you're not going to go back to Godhead. They're not going to tell you about, they're not going to remind you about Krishna. So you can't go home. So we do need to check periodically to see where we are in Krishna consciousness. Are we growing? One way to show that we're growing, and this is the last point, is we're getting less and less interested in material things. And we're putting the spiritual as priority over the material. Then we're growing. So we wish everybody this year a wonderful Krishna conscious elevation in our lives. Because with that comes tremendous happiness, tremendous internal happiness. Don't get so bogged down by the things here of this world, because it's not designed to make us happy. It's designed to frustrate us so we can go back, leave this place and go back. If you try to adjust to it, you're going to be deceiving your own self. Put up with it and pray hard and relate well, do all the right things in Krishna consciousness and in Bhakti Yoga so we can go home. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you again for coming. This has been wonderful all year last year. Many of you showed up. Only request that we made was that let's try to come on time. So there were a couple of people that were here at 8, and a couple of people came right after that. So we can improve and improve, because this is all, Krishna sees everything. He's in our hearts. He sees everything we do. If we are prompt, it means we're saying that we're serious, we're thinking about the Lord, and we want to be where we need to be at the time that we need to be there. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Hare Krishna. Yeah, down, please. Unmute yourself. Separate humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Unmute yourself first. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
For the devotees in the call. Thank you for a very nice class, Prabhu.
Krishna's mercy.
It was a very nice hearing about how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took care of the emotions of the devotees and as well as, kept the balance between the regulation like sadhana bhakti and then, even taking care of the devotees. That was nice to hear. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Srila Prabhupada. Any other comments or questions? It's an exciting year that's come up. 2026, very, very, very exciting year. If we take Krishna consciousness seriously, a lot of things are going to be done and elevated in our lives. Even those that look at things from a metaphysical point of view, they're saying that when they're having their own reasons and coming up with all that. So it's a good year for getting a lot of our Krishna conscious projects, going after them, because much can be achieved in order to elevate our own Krishna consciousness. Just wanted to put that out there because there are quite a few arenas that are saying that. Okay, looks like there's one from the chat. Hare Krishna, I think it's from Xavier. Okay. How to look at pastimes through internal potencies, the lens of internal potencies versus the external. How to look at that? Sometimes it's a challenge. Sometimes it's a challenge, especially when the activity is similar to what we do at home. We always have to remember that Krishna, one point, Krishna is the Supreme Soul, and that the soul is not flesh and blood. So even if Krishna is performing his pastimes, his activities, it is not flesh and blood like we are using these physical bodies to do something similar. He is always at the transcendental level. He's always at the transcendental level. When it comes to pastimes, some of which look similar to some things that we may be able to do with these physical bodies. One thing that Krishna does that makes us realize that we can never be at that level, and this is not a material thing that is happening, is that Krishna can expand himself into as many personalities that need his one-on-one attention for that pastime. We can't do that. We cannot do that. If he's dancing with the gopis, and at some point you can, he's dancing with the gopis. Srimati Radharani is in the middle of the circle, and Krishna is there with her. And that doesn't put our minds in the spiritual, way of looking at it. As soon as we read that Krishna is now making all the devotees, the gopis, think that he's dancing with them one-on-one. Now, here goes the material way of thinking. You can't do that. Not even the most experienced sage can do that. Because everybody can expand themselves, if you can do it, as is said in the scriptures, to 9 personalities. And they all have to be doing the same thing at the same time, same movement. But Krishna is so versatile, he can expand himself into millions and billions if he has to. The gopis number in the millions in Vrindavan. And he's doing something totally one-on-one with that particular gopi. So now you see this is not a material thing. It can't be, because materially we can't do that. It can't be done even in the heavenly planets. And they have 8 mystic cities, and they still can't do that. So what we need to do is remind ourselves that for every activity that Krishna performs, there is part of it that we know we cannot put it at the material level. And that would jar our minds to make him realize, okay, those are other things that seems like materially we can do. It's not actually at that level, because Krishna is always the kind of personality that can change things like that. So he's talking, another example, he's talking to Arjuna on Arjuna's chariot. And it's in the battle of Kurukshetra, in the middle of the battle, he's speaking, he's advising Arjuna. It sounds like 2 people talking to each other. One is in distress and the other one is trying to advise. Something like you can hear from a counselor, what to do and what not to do, explain things as they are. But as soon as you go to chapter 11 of Bhagavad Gita, now Arjuna has requested Krishna to show his universal form. And he has several mouths and several legs and several eyes and he's just so many personalities together. All of a sudden, here goes the material way of thinking of it. It's not at that level. It simply isn't. And what's happening is that as he's talked about that all the soldiers will be on both sides will be gone, and he shows the future of all the big generals just being helplessly moved into the mouth of these of the universal form of the Lord. And then Arjun gets scared and then finally says, please show your Narayan form four-handed and then two-handed, which he did. Came back. And so he looks like two hands and two legs like us. But he's already showed his universal form. So basically the answer is, whenever Krishna does his pastimes, there's always something in there that we know we cannot put it at the material level. And that's the one that's going to remind us that even if some parts of what's going on seems like what we would normally relate to, that is never like that, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead makes sure that some part of it is not what we can do on the material level. And that will remind us that everything really is at the spiritual level, even though some parts of it may look like something we can do. Hare Krishna. Thank you for a good question. Any other? If not, then again, I wish everybody a very prosperous Krishna conscious year. Take the chanting seriously. It's to our advantage. Krishna wants us back home. That's why he comes here. That's why he sends sometimes his pure devotees to come just to get us back home. Just to get us back home. Don't ever think that an advanced country is helping you. No, we're still very much a slave to material energy. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhishcha kripa sunibhye evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.